Hi there, you are tuned into Beauty and Braids, the podcast where I, Karyne Tenard, has conversations about all things relevant to personal growth and development. Just a heads up, I'm unfiltered. You're welcome. Hey guys, you already know I am here. Okay, so this episode is definitely about bad hair. Definitely want to talk about that because so many people can relate, can't they? But before I even go into that, I do want to give a special shout out to the places that have been listening in on your girl's podcast. Okay, so shout out to all these countries. Like, I've literally took a look at my analytics and listen, drum roll. Guess what? I am being listened to. You know what? Shout out. I'm not even going to say I'm being listened to in shout out to Russia, Singapore, Belgium, Indonesia, Australia, the Ukraine, the United Kingdom, France, Germany, and I got peoples in Germany, okay? I'm an international hairstylist. Yes, I had an individual who had to come down with her interpreter so she could get braids by me from Germany. Okay, and I had somebody come from Sweden. So yo girl. Okay, so I almost forgot about that. But yes, I got peoples in Germany. And so shout out to South Africa, Canada, the Netherlands, Ireland, and you already know the United States of America. Yes, your girl is being heard. Okay. Thank you so much. I'm really touched about that because that is like, a silent little celebration, being grateful that my messages and my my thoughts are not being left on deaf ears. It is being heard. Amen. Okay. But let's get to why we're having this episode 44. Okay, so Bad Hair was released on October 16th, Friday that just passed. It was directed by, I hope I'm not messing up your name, but Justin Simien. I don't think it's Simon. I think it's Simien, something like that. Sorry. But shout out to that because when people look at this movie, and I've seen the reviews and I've seen some comments, not even reviews, before the movie even aired as a Hulu original, a lot of people were talking bad about it. Like, oh, I'm tired of another hair conversation about our bad hair and and like, dang, people can't just make movies. Like, people are like, oh, they done ran out of ideas. And I'm like, actually, this idea was very like genius. It was really good. From a person who does hair, I can relate. For a person who have gotten their hair done, I can relate. Okay. And as a Black female with hair, I can relate again. So like, okay, I don't want to give away too much of the movie because I want y'all to go see it. And of course, in order to understand movies, you really have to watch it. You have to watch it and not watch it to be like, I was entertained actually. Like, it had me thinking, but I was already thinking a certain way prior to seeing that movie. So, how I perceived it was on a deeper level than most people. It probably hit him at the surface, like, oh my God, like, really, hair taking over. So, but let's break this down a little bit to the level where you might be able to understand where I'm coming from. Prior to watching Bad Hair, I already was coming up with this theory that your hair is a form of communication with your environment. Now, no, don't sign off and be like, oh shoot, she talking crazy. Listen, just like insects have antennas, and all of that, we have hair around our bodies. Our hair is also, does our hair really protect us? You know what I'm saying? Like, people be like, you have hair to protect you. No, you do not have. Okay, so you have hair in your nose to protect you from bugs and dirt and germs from coming in your nose, and it catches it, right? Also around the hair, right? So I mean your ears. So it's like a way to just like capture the germs and all that stuff, and it's a buildup or whatever, you clean it out. Right. But the hairs around your body sends messages to your brain about what's going on in the environment. When you get chills, when the hairs on your body, you can literally, sometimes some people can see their hair rise up. If there's static around you, your hair will rise up. You can get shocked through your hair, and it's like an electrical thing that happens to your hair, and it goes to your cells, and your cells are communicating through your neurons and electrons, and the I think it's called the synapse, something like that. I'm not too savvy in science, but inside the body, it communicates with the neurons in your nervous system. So, and from your nervous system, it communicates to your spinal cord and goes up, travels to your brain and tells you what just happened, right? Like the hairs around your body is basically an extension form of communication for your senses to understand what's happening around you. People think that it's more of like your hands is touching it, but maybe it's the hairs, the invisible hairs on your body that says that. So with that being said, those who have donated hair, cut their hair off, they're cutting off a form of their communication, and their energy is in their hair. Their thoughts, whatever's happened to them, things like that, because energy is not destroyed, it's only transferred. So how a person is feeling, the energy behind certain things, sadness and whatever, is also transferred or passed with that hair that is being donated to someone else. And if you're in good spirits, XYZ. So now, okay, I might go a little bit too deep with y'all with that, okay? But follow me here. A lot of people with dreads, they hold on to their hair because they find its strength in their hair, in their dreads. That's why they don't get rid of it. If you speak to someone like older generations with locks, sorry, I did not mean to call it dreads. Locks, I mean. And there's a story behind dreads and stuff like that. Not calling dreads because it is not dreadful. It is beautiful. Okay. All right. Okay. So you have power and strength in your hair. So the more you attain your hair, have your hair with you, the more, I guess, power you have, or energy, strength. So now in the movie Bad Hair, I like the fact that they chose the word bad hair as a title, because a lot of people think it's because another like Chris Rock movie about good hair. No, or that documentary. No, it's actually, I haven't spoken to the director or screenplay writer, but Justin, let me know if you agree with this. But I felt like he used bad hair because it's a double meaning. Like, a lot of people use bad hair like, oh, you have bad hair, and you look at the female and just kind of like, oh, so that's what you consider bad hair? But it's not. The hair itself that she sewed into her hair looked good and everything like that, but how the hair reacted, the hair was attached to her head, but it was doing really bad things. Like, it was killing people or making her feel a certain way where she did kill people. Like, it took over her. And that was like a folk talk, like a, something that happened with the hair, where the hair was coming from, because no one knew where the hair was coming from. It was coming from like they said it was coming from India, but it wasn't coming from India. It was coming from somewhere else. And it had a mind of its own. So it was bad hair, which was, the hair was bad in its character. It was evil hair. So you get it? So it went with bad hair, but it wasn't really like what people thought it meant. You know what I'm saying? So you have to watch it to understand that it wasn't saying her hair was bad. But of course, you have some parts in there where they were talking about, girl, who did your hair? And this isn't a trailer, so I'm not really giving away anything that has not been given away anyways. But it was like, who did your hair, girl? And it was like promoting this hairstylist, but the hairstylist, and it wasn't the person who said, who did your hair, also went to the same person. And it was more of like a recruitment of, promoting this hair. But the hair was promoting itself through the person because it took over people, if you understand what I meant. But I mean, she was still being employed and everything like that about her hair, but she just didn't feel confident about herself. So it wasn't about what society felt about what her hair looked like. It was what she felt her hair didn't look like, because it didn't look like her sisters or her family members or what she's seeing. But, it was just kind of like, it's just hair. You know what I'm saying? But I definitely liked it. The craziest part that made me twin, like really like, like I could not see it. It was when she was sewing in the hair, and the girl had like a scar in the back of her head, and the person who was sewing her hair was braiding super tight and was like, girl, I hope you're not tender-headed. It doesn't matter if a person is tender-headed or not. You're not supposed to be ripping anybody's hair out. The whole point is to make it a protective style and promote hair growth. Like, what is the end process? Like, when you take out this weave, what are you trying to do with your hair? Do you want your hair to actually look like it flourished, like it took a vacation? Because most of the time when people put a weave in, is to not process their hair or not play with their hair. It's just kind of like put their hair away so they can, so it's not tampered with, or there's no breakage, XYZ when it comes to hair. So that's why I really just didn't understand why anybody, it doesn't matter why anybody would ask, like, are you tender-headed? Like, sometimes I ask, tender-headed, because I want to know if the person's tender-headed, because I'm like, I'm about to blow your mind because this is painless. Okay. You ain't, like, if you tender-headed, this is the place to be when I do my clients' hair, because I specialize in painless braiding. That's a technique that I, practiced and got better at because I cared about the clients that sat in my chair. Like, anybody who really cares about a person, hair and their growth and what they're going to walk away with will understand what it's like. For me, I was doing relaxers and weaves and all that. But every time a client would come back to me, I seen what was happening to the person's hair. So I had to stop. Like, I was just like, I don't want no parts of this. I want no parts of damaging a person's hair, or in the long term, they still coming to me and their hair isn't getting better. Their hair is getting worse. You know what I'm saying? And they're like just flat ironing and touching up their edges with relaxer. And it's just, to me, I'm like, no, I can't do this. So I just started focusing more on braiding and painless braidings, because it's no chemicals being done with that. There's no heat involved with braiding. And yes, no blow drying up in here, because the heat defeats the purpose of protective styling. Like, if you're protecting it, period. So She was braiding her hair super tight. Then she was putting the needle through her scalp. I'm like, the braids are there so you can put the thread, the needle, under the braid for the hold. She was putting the needle through her scalp and pulling it. I literally was like, oh my God. And the girl tearing up. I said, Lord Jesus. She done fainted in the chair. I said, oh Lord Jesus, sorry, I'm just giving a little bit of it away. So, but go still see it. Like, I mean, it just was a lot to take in, because that's something that I really am against, with pain. Like beauty, attaching beauty to pain. Like, no, there's no pain that should be had when you're beautifying yourself or pampering yourself. Like, it should be an enjoyable, memorable moment. It shouldn't be like, oh my God, I gotta go get my hair done. Let me get some pills. No, okay? And then, so I just was like, they captured that part really good. And again, the hair was like, when you taking over her, like when she turned around, she just felt like a different person. Like, you know what I'm saying? And plus she basically had a different person's hair attached to her head, right? So now let's go into feeling like somebody else. Now, when I put on my wigs or my weaves or anything like that, I look different, and I'm perceived a little differently. Like, if I have straight hair, my hair is super straight and it's like flowing, people ain't messing with me. They like, oh shoot, okay, she a bad, you know what I'm saying? I just feel like I'm on top of the world, like I'm a boss, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean business, you know what I'm saying? But of course that goes with also, having your face done, you know what I'm saying? Or what outfit you're wearing and how it makes you feel. So all of that comes into play with your personality and what you show the world. It's a level of confidence that happens with your hair, right? So when I have on my blonde wig, you know what I'm saying? It's a different, playful, party type, fun, silly. That's me. And sometimes with the blonde, I could be really seductive, so it just, when I have on my natural hair, cause I am natural. So when I do wear my hair with just it being natural, I'm more relaxed, comfortable in my skin, down to earth and all that extra stuff. Even though I am that way with all of the different hairs and looks that I show or wear, the way people see me, if you have never met me before and you see me with one hairstyle or whatever, this is what you're going to think, right? Because your hair tell a story. And if it's hair that's been attached from someone else that you don't know what energy that they were going through, if they were sad, depressed, really happy, or what type of person it is. That is another energy that is being attached to yourself. So maybe you could sage your hair. I have no idea. Like, maybe sage your hair before placing it in your head, speak good things over it before it's being placed. Like, to me, I would not want to do anybody's hair that I don't like. Like, I really say that. Like, if anybody has followed me, they know I do not, like, if I will refuse a client, I will block a client. Like, all money is not good money. You know what I'm saying? I protect my energy at all costs. If I do not feel valued or respected by a person, I'm not touching their hair, because it's going to reflect in how their hair ends up being after I walk away from it. Like, I can do their hair as painless as possible, but I'm not putting in the love that I normally do because it's not there. And if I do not have the right energy touching your hair, it's not going to grow. So you really do need somebody who actually cares about you to touch your hair. it's a very intimate thing. Like your hair, when you touch someone's hair, is a connection that you're building between the person and its hair. You know what I'm saying? That's an extension of that person. If I touch your hair, like I'm communicating. My hair on my hands and my body is touching the hairs on your head. So we're, there's an exchange of touch and communication. And again, like your hair can communicate to your inner self, like what the environment around you is. If it's a negative environment, if it's a loving environment, if it's happy, if it's a fruitful environment, that stuff you definitely get through your hair. You don't know where those informations are coming from, but that's where it's coming from. And so not only are you putting hair that belongs to somebody else, if it's human hair, okay? If it's human hair. If not only are you doing that, but you're also now having someone who is placing that hair in your hair. So you really have to be really careful and intentional when you pick a person to do your hair, and I guess pick your hair. You know what I'm saying? You have to really be mindful that the hair that you're picking is of good quality, and all to be safe. Sage that. Throw some sage on it. Put some Palo Santo. I don't know. Speak life into that hair. Just be like, you are my hair. Send back all the energy. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you just speak nothing but good things over that hair. So, you know what I'm saying? You can release whatever energy is attached to it. I think a lot of people just put hair in their head. They don't know where it came from. And they're too scared to tell, their stylist or whatever. Like, it's just kind of like, it just has to be handled with care from point A to point B, point C, wherever the destination is. The destination should be the person's head. And you have to be really mindful about where it's ending up and where it came from. So, like, if you can get a story behind it, then that's good. But you really do have to do the research for yourself. But like that show, the movie was really good, deep. Like, don't get the hair wet. Like, you know how that is. You know what I'm saying? You ain't finna trying to get your hair wet. Like, I have my hair super straight, going outside thinking I'm fabulous, fly and everything like that, walking around. By the time I get back home, it was all that stupid misty rain that it didn't even make no sense if you had an umbrella, because it was still getting under your umbrella and your hair was all messing up. So my hair was not straight no more, and I just felt like done. Like, oh my God. Like, and I mean, I could have still had that super confident energy. Like, I'm out here looking bad. I could rock this wet looking hair. But it was just because I felt defeated after doing my hair, putting so much effort in doing my hair to look a certain way. And then it was not that anymore. That was what defeated me. It wasn't the hairstyle or anything like that. It was literally my thoughts. You know what I'm saying? Or it could have been the other thought. I don't know. But that's another topic. You know what I'm saying? When we talk about ego and knowing, whose thoughts it is, and the negative self-talk and stuff like that, that does ruin a person's day and their mood. So I just really was like, oh my God, I don't want to, let me go home and not deal with anybody or see anybody. But again, that's just me saying that bad hair really touched on some really big topics, hair in the workplace and what people perceive you. And that only affects you. Like, when you watch the movie, you'll see what I'm saying. Not having a certain hairstyle because you're looking at everybody else, because you are internalizing what you think people think about your hair, because that's how you think about your hair. until you are confident with, like, I love my hair and all this other stuff, then you walk with that pride and people like to see you. Because there was a time I shaved my hair bald, okay? And I was walking around, I just, went to the barber and stuff like that. And I put my earrings on because I was like, but I felt liberated. I wasn't hiding behind hair. And people just looked at me like, yo, she looks good. And there was no hair there. But let it have been something where it was not my choice to do my hair like that, I would have felt so horrible, like, oh my God, they don't like it. You know what I'm saying? Like this and this and that. But because it was my choice and I was just like, I love this, everybody else loved it. So it's a projection. Like what we see in others is a reflection of what they see, what we put out there. So let's start looking at what we put out there and reflect and change that, and change the energy. So that's being said, shout out to Justin for this movie. This is funny, hilarious movie. You'll there's some parts where I started dying. Like I was super loud and laughing. And definitely, Kelly Rowland did her thing. Usher did his thing. Lena Waithe, she had me rolling. Okay. There's a part in there where towards the end, I was like, I am done with her. Okay. But shout out especially to the lead actress, Elle Lorraine, who did an extraordinary job capturing that. There was like parts in that thing that I was like, yo, she really went there with that one. Okay. But she did her thing. So shout out to you, girl. Hopefully I can get you on the show, or somebody from Bad Hair can be on this, you know what I'm saying? Braids, our podcast, Beauty and Braids. And again, shout out to all of my listeners. Thank you so much. If you had any thoughts on bad hair or what you've experienced yourself, what your friend experienced, and you want to share the story, definitely contact me. Make sure you're following me on Instagram at Beauty and Braids Podcast. Follow, DM me, let's talk. And who knows, you might be a guest on the show. I need new friends. I love my friends. I can always add some more. Okay, so everybody, thank you so much. Make sure your hair is good hair, you know what I'm saying? And I don't mean coolie and all this extra stuff. I'm just saying healthy hair is good hair. And when you got that toxic hair, like bad hair, you don't want that. You better sage that. Open some windows and let it out, and cast out and rebuke any bad energy, entity, all of that away from your hair. Okay, so protect your hair. Remember, edges matter, and painless is possible. You're welcome. Bye. Thank you again for listening to Beauty and Braids. I am your girl Karyne, and this has been another great day. Until next time, you'll hear from me then. In the meantime, please follow me on @HairByKaryne, @ShopBraidAppeal, and @YTC Nonprofit. Get to know me a little bit better. Check them out.